Imagine walking into a room and every single eye turns toward you, not because of what you're wearing, not because of the title you hold, but because of the way you carry yourself. People stop, people notice, and without a single word, you command respect. Now here's the truth. You will never experience that moment if you can't control yourself. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone lose their temper and instantly lose credibility? How many times have you watched someone brag, overreact, or let their insecurities spill all over the place, and suddenly the respect you once had for them vanished? Respect is fragile. It doesn't get handed to you, it's earned, moment by moment, through the discipline you show over yourself. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself right now. Are you in control, or are you being controlled? Because whether it's your emotions, your impulses, your habits, or your reactions, if you don't have control over them, they will control you. And when that happens, you lose the very thing. Every human being craves respect. Now, stay with me, because over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly why self-control is the single most powerful force you can master if you ever want to be respected by others, trusted by others, and most importantly, respected by yourself. Let me take you deeper into the first truth. Before you control anything in this world, your career, your relationships, your finances, or even your future, you must learn to control yourself. Everything begins with you. The way you think, the way you speak, the way you act. Those are the first battles you must win. And let me tell you something. Most people lose this battle every single day without even realizing it. Think about how easy it is to let your emotions dictate your behavior. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and suddenly you're yelling at a stranger you'll never see again. Someone makes a rude comment online, and instead of brushing it off, you carry that anger with you all day. Maybe you even snap back, wasting energy on someone who doesn't even matter. In that moment, who's in control, you or your emotions? The truth is, you've handed over your power. You've allowed something external to dictate your internal state. And once you do that, you've lost. Because if your mind can be hijacked by anyone, anywhere, at any time, you will never be respected. Respect requires strength, and strength begins with control. Control isn't about being robotic or emotionless. It's about discipline. It's about knowing that while you may feel anger, fear, or frustration, you don't let those emotions drive your actions. The most respected people in the world are not the loudest. They're not the ones who explode when things don't go their way. They're the ones who remain calm under pressure, who can walk into chaos and bring order simply by how they carry themselves. People follow those who are steady, not those who are unstable. Let me give you an image. Imagine a storm, wind, rain, lightning. Everything is chaos. Now imagine one tree standing tall in the middle of that storm. It bends, but it doesn't break. It holds steady. That tree earns respect. Why? Because it has control. And you must be that tree, because life will throw storms at you, problems, failures, betrayals, challenges. And the question is, will you bend and hold firm, or will you snap at the first gust of wind? Control also shows up in the small moments, not just the big ones. The discipline to wake up when you said you would, the strength to keep your word when it would be easier to break it, the focus to finish what you start, even when motivation fades. These small acts of control build the foundation for respect. People notice. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. They watch how consistent you are, and that consistency tells them whether they can trust you, whether they can respect you. Now, let's be real. Control is hard. It's much easier to let emotions fly, to say whatever comes to mind, to act on impulse. But easy never earns respect. Nobody respects the person who does what's easy. Respect comes from doing what's hard, from mastering yourself in ways most people never will. Think about someone you admire deeply. Maybe it's a leader, a mentor, someone you've only read about. What do they have in common? They have restraint. They don't move recklessly. They don't speak carelessly. They are deliberate. Every action, every word is chosen with intention, and that is why they are respected. When you fail to control yourself, you send a message to the world. I cannot even manage me. And if you cannot manage yourself, How can anyone trust you to manage a team, a business, a family, or a dream? People may like you, they may pity you, but they will not respect you, because respect is reserved for those who demonstrate strength, and strength is demonstrated through control. I want you to imagine this. You're in a heated conversation, your heart is pounding, you want to explode to say the words that will cut the deepest, but instead you pause, you breathe, you respond with calm, measured words. Do you know what happens in that moment? You show power, you show discipline. The other person may scream louder, but you hold the real strength. You control yourself. And because of that, you control the outcome. That is the type of control that builds respect. Respect doesn't mean people always agree with you. It doesn't mean they always like you, but it does mean they know you have control over yourself. They know that you won't break, that you won't cave, that you won't let circumstances or emotions dictate who you are. And once people recognize that in you, something shifts, they stop testing you. They start trusting you. They begin to follow you, not because you demand it, but because you've earned it. The hardest person you will ever have to control is yourself. Not your boss, not your friends, not your partner, not your enemies. If you can't control your own mind, your own tongue, your own actions, then you've already lost the respect game. But once you master yourself, the world opens up. People listen when you speak. They watch when you move. They notice when you enter a room. Why? Because control is magnetic. It is rare. And anything rare is respected. So I'll leave you with this thought. You want respect? Start with you. Before you try to lead others, lead yourself. Before you try to change the world, change your habits. Before you demand respect from anyone, earn it by proving you can control yourself. Because until you do, every effort you make will be hollow. But once you do, every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every challenge you face, you will carry with you a quiet power that no one can take away. That is real respect. That is real control. Respect is one of the most misunderstood things in life. Too many people walk around expecting it, demanding it, even begging for it. They think a title, a position, money, or power should automatically earn them respect. But let me tell you something. It doesn't work that way. Respect is never handed out like a free gift. It is earned, it is built, and it is built over time through actions, not words. You can demand obedience, you can demand attention, you can even demand fear, but you cannot demand respect. The moment you try, you've already lost it. Respect doesn't come from telling people who you are. It comes from showing them. It comes from how you behave when nobody's watching, from how you treat people who can do nothing for you, from the consistency of your character. That's the real currency of respect. Think about it. You've probably met people who had authority, but no respect. Maybe it was a boss who barked orders, but never inspired anyone. People followed the rules because they had to. Not because they wanted to. They worked under that person, but they didn't respect. And the second that authority disappeared, so did the obedience. On the other hand, think about the people in your life who don't have power, don't have money, maybe don't even have titles, yet you respect them deeply. Why? Because of the way they carry themselves, the way they honor their word, the way they live with integrity. That is earned respect. Earning respect requires consistency. It's not about one moment of greatness. It's not about impressing people once. It's about who you are repeatedly, day after day, in the small things and the big things. If you show up on time once, that doesn't earn respect. But if you're reliable every single time, people start to trust you. And trust leads to respect. If you're kind to someone when it benefits you, that doesn't earn respect. But if you treat everyone with dignity, even those who can't do anything for you, people see that and respect grows. Respect is built like a wall, brick by brick, action by action. Now here's the challenge. Many people want respect instantly. They want shortcuts. They think if they talk loud enough, post enough, show off enough, people will respect them. But here's the truth. Those things might get you attention, but they will never get you respect. Respect is quiet. It's not about showing off. It's about showing up. It's not about impressing. It's about impacting. And the impact you make on people's lives through your actions, through your discipline, through your character, that's what earns their respect. Let me ask you something. If you walked away from your job tomorrow, if you walked out of your community, if you left the people around you, what would they remember about you? Would they remember your title, your car, your clothes, or would they remember your integrity, your honesty, your strength, your consistency? Because at the end of the day, respect is tied to legacy. It's about what stays behind when you're not there. And don't mistake fear for respect. People might fear you if you yell the loudest, if you intimidate, if you throw around power. But the second you lose that power, fear disappears. Respect, on the other hand, doesn't leave. Even when you're gone, people still carry it for you. That's the difference. Fear is forced. Respect is chosen. And people only choose to respect you when they've seen proof, not performance. There's also another truth about respect. You don't earn it by how you treat those above you. You earn it by how you treat those below you. Anybody can flatter a boss or treat someone well when they think it will benefit them. That's easy. But the true test of character is how you treat the waiter, the janitor, the person who can do nothing for you. Do you dismiss them? Or do you honor them? Because the way you treat people with no power tells the world everything it needs to know about you. And the world is always watching. Earning respect also requires humility. People don't respect arrogance. They may envy it. They may mock it. But they don't respect it. They respect confidence. Yes, but confidence that doesn't need to scream. Confidence that doesn't need to put others down. Humility is strength under control. It says, I know my worth. I don't need to prove it. That kind of quiet power is magnetic. People lean toward it, and they respect it. Now let's get practical. How do you earn respect? You do what you say you're going to do. You keep promises, especially the ones you make to yourself. You stay disciplined when others quit. You remain calm when others lose their temper. You speak with intention instead of carelessness. You show up prepared. You take responsibility when things go wrong instead of pointing fingers. You give credit when things go right instead of hogging the spotlight. That's how respect is earned. Not through noise, not through demands, but through daily, consistent actions that prove who you are. I want you to remember this. Respect is not a destination. It's a process. You don't just arrive one day and suddenly people respect you forever. It must be maintained. You can lose it in a second if you betray your own values. You can lose it with one act of dishonesty, one display of weakness, one failure to control yourself. That's why self-control and respect go hand in hand. One feeds the other. Lose control, you lose respect. Build control, you build respect. So stop demanding it. Stop expecting it. Stop thinking it's owed to you. Nobody owes you respect. You must earn it. And the beauty is, once you earn it the right way, through character, through integrity, through discipline, it can't be taken away from you. It becomes part of who you are. People may not always like you, but they will respect you. And in this world, being respected will take you further than being liked ever could. There is a kind of strength that doesn't come from muscles, money, or influence. It's the strength that comes from mastering your emotions. That strength is called emotional discipline, and it is one of the most powerful forces a person can ever develop. Emotional discipline is the ability to stay calm when everything around you is chaos, to keep your composure when others are losing theirs, to make decisions not out of anger, fear, or pride, but out of clarity and control. This is real power, the kind that earns respect, the kind that lasts. Look around you. How many people do you see who are controlled by their emotions instead of controlling them? Someone gets criticized, and instead of taking it as feedback, they lash out. Someone feels fear, and instead of pushing forward, they freeze. Someone feels jealous, and instead of building themselves up, they tear others down. Emotions are powerful, and when left unchecked, they run the show. But here's the thing. If your emotions run you, anyone who knows how to push your buttons owns you. You become predictable, easy to manipulate, easy to defeat. That's weakness. And weakness never earns respect. The most respected people are not those who feel nothing. They're the ones who feel everything and yet choose how to respond. They are not cold or emotionless, but they have trained themselves not to be ruled by impulses. They don't allow anger to dictate their words, fear to dictate their choices, or ego to dictate their actions. And because they own themselves, they can walk into any situation with authority. Think about it. Who do you trust more? The person who reacts instantly with rage, panic, or arrogance, or the one who takes a breath, assesses, and responds with calm precision? We naturally gravitate toward the latter because emotional discipline radiates strength. Imagine being in a high-stakes situation. Maybe it's a negotiation, a conflict at work, or even a heated argument at home. If you let anger take over, you say things you regret. If you let fear dominate, you back down when you should have stood firm. If you let pride speak, you damage trust. But if you hold your ground, if you pause, if you choose your words with care, suddenly the dynamic changes. People look at you differently. They realize you cannot be rattled. You cannot be provoked into weakness. That is respect. That is power. Now let's be clear. Emotional discipline is not about suppressing your feelings. Suppression is weakness disguised as strength. True discipline is acknowledging your emotions, understanding them, but not letting them drive the car. It's saying, yes, I feel anger, but I will not let it control me. Yes, I feel fear, but I will move forward anyway. Yes, I feel pride, but I will not let it blind me. This is self-mastery. This is how you turn emotions from chains into tools. Think about history's greatest leaders, thinkers, and visionaries. They were not respected because they shouted the loudest or acted recklessly. They were respected because in the most difficult moments, they kept their composure. When others panicked, they stayed steady. When others lashed out, they stayed focused. Their calmness was not weakness, it was strength, because it showed they were in control. Let me give you a personal scenario to picture. You walk into a meeting. Two people are debating. One is red in the face, raising their voice, pounding the table. The other speaks calmly, listens, responds with clear, precise points. Who owns the room? Not the one yelling. People tune them out because loss of control equals loss of credibility. The one with composure owns the room. Why? Because emotional discipline commands respect. People trust calm voices more than loud ones. Here's the truth. Emotions are temporary, but the consequences of how you handle them are permanent. A moment of anger can cost you a relationship. A moment of fear can cost you an opportunity. A moment of arrogance can cost you your reputation. But discipline, holding your ground, staying composed, can build trust that lasts a lifetime. And emotional discipline is not just about dealing with negative emotions. It's also about controlling positive ones. Excitement, pride, passion, those too can cloud judgment if unchecked. How many people have ruined their future because they got overconfident, careless, or euphoric? Discipline means balancing both sides, never letting the high carry you away or the low pull you under. The path to emotional discipline is not easy. It takes practice, patience, and awareness. You must train yourself daily. Start with the little moments. When someone irritates you, practice pausing before responding. When fear rises in your chest, breathe and move forward anyway. When pride tempts you to prove yourself, let humility speak instead. Every small act of control strengthens the muscle of discipline, and over time, it becomes second nature. And here's the reward. Once you have emotional discipline, people will trust you. They will see you as reliable, steady, dependable. They will look to you in times of crisis. Why? Because while others crumble under pressure, you don't. And that reliability is rare. Rare things are respected. I want you to really understand this. Emotional discipline is not just about earning the respect of others. It's also about earning your own respect. When you know you can trust yourself not to lose control, when you know you can rely on your own strength, your confidence grows, you walk taller, you speak clearer, you carry yourself differently. People sense it. Respect starts within, and emotional discipline is the key that unlocks it. So the next time your emotions flare, remember this. That moment is your test. Will you give in and lose control, or will you hold steady and prove your strength? Because every moment of discipline builds respect. while every moment of weakness destroys it. Emotional discipline is not optional. If you want power, if you want influence, if you want respect, it is the foundation. And when you master it, you will walk through life with a quiet force that no one can deny. Every time you let someone cross a line that matters to you, you send a message. My standards don't matter. My values don't matter. My time doesn't matter. And once you send that message, people start to believe it. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are signals that teach people how to treat you. Without them, respect will never exist. People will push, they will take, they will test, and if you allow it, you will end up resenting them and worse, losing respect for yourself. Think about it. Every relationship in your life, whether personal, professional, or even casual, runs on boundaries. They are invisible rules that say, this is acceptable, this is not. If you don't set them, other people will set them for you. And most people, whether consciously or unconsciously, will set them in their favor. That's human nature. If you don't make it clear how you expect to be treated, you cannot complain when people mistreat you. You've trained them that way. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have a colleague who constantly dumps their responsibilities on you. At first, you accept it because you don't want conflict, but soon it becomes a pattern. They keep pushing and you keep absorbing. Before long, you're overworked, undervalued, and resentful. Whose fault is that? Partly theirs. Yes, but mostly yours. Why? Because you never set a boundary. You never drew the line and said, this is not my responsibility. And in failing to do that, you taught them that it was okay to disrespect your time and energy. Boundaries are powerful because they are a form of self-respect. When you set them, you are saying to the world, I value myself. I value my time. I value my energy. I value my peace. And people may not always like it, but they will respect it. The irony is, the very people who may push against your boundaries at first often end up respecting you more once they realize you won't bend, because boundaries reveal strength, and strength commands respect. Too many people confuse being kind with being endlessly accommodating. But kindness without boundaries is weakness. It's giving everyone else permission to drain you. And people don't respect weakness. They exploit it. The person who says yes to everything, who allows others to walk all over them, doesn't earn admiration. They become invisible, overlooked, and taken for granted. Respect doesn't come from pleasing people. It comes from teaching them that you have standards. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you are selfish or unkind. It means you are clear. It means you are strong enough to say no when you need to. It means you don't allow guilt to dictate your choices. It means you don't stretch yourself thin just to avoid disappointing others. And when you live that way, people may resist at first, but in the long run, they learn that your presence comes with value. They understand that your time, your energy, your attention are not free. They must be earned, and that makes them respected even more. The boundaries also protect your energy. Every time you say yes to something that violates your values, you say no to yourself. And every time you say no to yourself, you lose a little more self-respect. That's why people who never set boundaries often feel burned out, bitter, and drained. They gave everything away, and they got nothing in return. But those who establish boundaries walk through life with balance, because they know how to preserve their strength. They know how to give without being emptied. They know how to love without being used. Here's the truth. People will test your boundaries. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. They'll see how much they can get away with. That's not because they're evil. It's because humans naturally push for what benefits them. It's your job to stand firm. Every time you reinforce your boundaries, you train people how to respect you. Every time you let one slide, you train them how to disrespect you. It's that simple. Boundaries also separate leaders from followers. A true leader doesn't try to be liked all the time. They don't say yes to everything. They don't bend just to keep the peace. They set clear expectations. They hold the line. And because of that, people trust them. Followers, on the other hand, are too afraid of disappointing others, too afraid of conflict. And that fear costs them respect. People don't follow the one who bends. They follow the one who stands firm. Think about the relationships in your life right now. Are there places where you're being disrespected, where your time, energy, or peace is being taken for granted? Ask yourself why. Is it because people are cruel, or is it because you never taught them where the line was? Boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about controlling yourself. They're about deciding what you will allow and what you won't, and then having the courage to enforce it. And don't make the mistake of thinking boundaries push people away. They actually do the opposite. The people who truly belong in your life will respect your boundaries and even appreciate them. They'll know where they stand with you. They'll feel safe because your strength creates clarity. It's the ones who wanted to use you, drain you, or control you that will disappear. And that's not loss, that's liberation. When you set boundaries, you create a filter. Only the people who truly value you, only the people who truly respect you, make it through. Everyone else falls away. And in the end, that leaves you surrounded by relationships that uplift you, not drain you. That is the power of boundaries. They don't just protect your respect, they attract it. So remember this, every time you fail to set a boundary, you sacrifice respect. Every time you set one, you build it. People may not like your boundaries, but they will respect them. And more importantly, you will respect yourself for having the courage to create them. Respect starts with self-respect, and boundaries are the language of self-respect. If you want others to value you, you must first show them how to by valuing yourself. If you want to be respected by anyone in this world, it has to start with one person, you. Because here's the truth. No one will ever treat you better than you treat yourself. No one will ever value you more than you value yourself. The way you carry yourself sets the tone for how the world interacts with you. Respect begins within. And if you fail to build it inside, you will spend your entire life chasing it outside and never finding it. And think about it. Have you ever seen someone constantly begging for attention, trying to prove their worth, seeking validation from everyone around them? It doesn't inspire respect. It inspires pity. People may give them temporary approval, but deep down they don't respect them. Why? Because you cannot expect others to give you what you don't give yourself. If you don't stand tall, no one else will lift you up. If you don't set standards for yourself, no one else will raise them for you. If you don't honor yourself, no one else will honor you. Respecting yourself begins with the choices you make every single day. The habits you keep, the promises you either honor or break, the discipline you practice, the words you speak to yourself, all of it matters when you constantly break promises to yourself. When you say you'll wake up early but hit snooze, when you say you'll eat healthy but cave to every craving, when you say you'll focus but waste hours scrolling, you chip away at your own respect. And once you lose respect for yourself, it's only a matter of time before others see it too. Self-respect is visible. You can see it in someone's posture, their tone of voice, in the way they walk into a room. A person who respects themselves doesn't have to announce it. They radiate it. Their energy says, I know who I am. I know my worth. I don't need your approval to validate me. And people notice. They may not understand why, but they feel it. That presence commands respect before a word is even spoken. On the other hand, when you lack self-respect, it also shows you shrink in your body language, you avoid eye contact, you tolerate treatment you don't deserve, you allow toxic people into your life. You let opportunities slip away because you don't believe you're worthy of them. And slowly, people begin to treat you exactly how you treat yourself. Because here's a harsh truth. People take their cues from you. If you show them you don't value yourself, they will follow your lead. Respecting yourself also means refusing to settle. Too many people settle for jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, friendships that bring them down. Why? Because they don't believe they deserve better. But when you respect yourself, you don't settle for crumbs. You don't stay where you're mistreated. You don't compromise your values just to fit in. You set standards and you live by them. And the world respects those who live by standards, even if it doesn't always like them. There's a reason we admire people with strong convictions. They stand firm even when it's unpopular. They walk away from what doesn't serve them. They choose integrity over comfort. That doesn't make life easier. It makes it harder but it also makes it meaningful. And that meaning builds respect, not only from others, but from within. Because when you can look in the mirror and know you stayed true to yourself, you carry a strength that no one can take from you. Self-respect also requires discipline. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect because it proves that you value your future more than your comfort. It says, I care about myself enough to do what's hard today so I can live better tomorrow. People respect discipline. They respect the person who shows up, who does the work, who holds themselves accountable. But more importantly, you begin to respect yourself when you live with discipline. You stop feeling like a fraud. You stop doubting yourself. You build confidence not from empty affirmations, but from evidence, proof that you can trust yourself. Here's something most people never realize. The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. If you don't respect yourself, you'll tolerate disrespect from others. If you don't love yourself, you'll chase unhealthy love from others. If you don't trust yourself, you'll constantly second-guess others. Everything starts with you. Fix the way you treat yourself, and the world around you begins to shift. Now let's be clear. Self-respect is not arrogance. It's not thinking you're better than everyone else. It's not shouting your worth from the rooftops. Arrogance is insecurity in disguise. Self-respect is quiet. It's steady. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need validation. It is lived, not spoken. It shows up in the way you speak, in the way you dress, in the way you care for your body, in the way you honor your word. And the people around you notice, even if they never say it. So ask yourself this. Do you truly respect yourself? Do your habits reflect respect? Do your standards reflect respect? Do your choices reflect respect? Because if the answer is no, that's where the work begins. You can't demand from the world what you won't demand from yourself. You can't ask people to respect you if you disrespect yourself in the mirror every morning by breaking promises, by neglecting your health, by tolerating mediocrity. Respect is not something you chase. It's something you build. And it starts within. Build it through discipline. Build it through integrity. Build it through self-care that goes beyond spa days and into real accountability. Build it by keeping your standards high, even when it's uncomfortable. Build it by saying no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what makes you stronger. And when you do, the world will see it. They will feel it. They will respect it. Because here's the bottom line. Respecting yourself is not just about how others treat you. It's about how you live your life. It's about walking through this world with a quiet confidence, a steady strength, a deep knowing that you are valuable, worthy, and unshakable. And once you have that, you won't need to chase respect. It will follow you. It will surround you. It will become who you are. Respect is not something you stumble upon. It's not something someone else can give you with a title, a paycheck, or a compliment. Respect is something you earn, something you build, something you protect. And it all begins with you. If you can't control yourself, no one will ever see you as strong. If you try to demand respect, people may obey for a moment, but they will never truly follow you. If you let your emotions run wild, you hand over your power. If you allow others to cross your boundaries, you show them that you don't value yourself. And if you don't respect yourself first, you will spend your life searching for respect in places it will never exist. But when you master yourself, when you stand tall, stay disciplined, honor your boundaries, and live with integrity, you no longer have to chase respect. It will come to you. People may not always like you. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect you. And in this world, that is worth more than being liked, more than being followed, more than being noticed. So as you walk out into the world, remember this. Control yourself, because that is real strength. Earn respect, because shortcuts don't exist. Discipline your emotions, because power belongs to the calm. Set boundaries, because they protect your value. And above all, respect yourself, because that is where everything begins. You don't have to tell people to respect you. Live in such a way that they have no choice.